Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. Pastor Craig.
Hi everyone, Ali Master, one of your elders.
And we're here to give you an update about our building program. We gave you the first announcement about the building program in September at our all-church celebration baptism service, and we thought it was time for another update. So Ali, why are we doing this? Why are we trying to build a building? Let's just revisit the big picture.
Thanks, Craig, and I know some of you might have been there at the all-church event that day, but I think it's good to kind of recap.
It is.
We're doing this, first of all, because as part of the Eastern Hills merger, that was one of our very important tenets to be able to take the money from the sale and be able to use that as seed money to build on this 3.5 acres that you see around our church. We're building this building not for the sake of the building, but to just continue our win, build, send theme.
Yeah.
We feel like God has given that land to us, and so maybe I can take a few minutes and add a little more color to what this may look like. First of all, we're talking about the 3.5 acres, so we're not going to be moving. You're going to be building right where you are. We plan to repurpose the existing building, so that'll become part of whether it's a fellowship hall or a youth building.
Yeah.
We want it to be a very next-gen leaning building.
That's part of our vision. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very modern-looking building. It's not necessarily going to look like a traditional church, which will allow us to then Monday through Saturday use that building for many other purposes, whether it's in the community for events, whether it's renting it out. We might even find a child care center, another major tenant, to be able to offset a risk and take less debt and be wise stewards of that.
Well, I really like that idea. Wow, that's great. Well, how are we going to tackle this? That seems pretty overwhelming when we think about a new building.
What we're hoping to do is continue to build on our sort of DNA that Lake City's had. So what you will see on the slide is we've built a team that is accountable to the elder board and the deacon board. And Trevor Schill is going to be helping me project manage this.
I've heard of him.
So he's going to be helping me as a project manager. And then you have 4 great leaders that you will see on the slide. You've got Brett Henley is going to lead our finance, and they're going to be focused on, what can we afford, and a pledge campaign and things like that. We're going to have Scott Songer, who's had years of experience. He's going to lead our style and design committee. It's going to sort of help figure out, well, what kind of building do we want? So that's their mission.
Right.
And they may visit other churches. They're the ones who are going to be figuring out the details.
Yeah.
Then you've got body involvement and communications. Robert Dushel is going to lead that. And they're going to be focused on how you can get involved, because we expect everyone to get involved, not just what you're seeing as far as the core team.
Yeah, with a building program like this, really, everybody has a part to play. Isn't that right?
Absolutely.
Everybody's going to have an important part to play.
Absolutely. And then our last and most important team, you could say, arguably, is the prayer and fasting team.
That's right.
And Cheryl Stewart's going to be leading that, because we think everything we do, we want to be able to have God's direction in it.
We want the foundation of this building to be on the foundation of prayer. Well, talk about the timeline. What are we talking about? 10 years, 5 years, 6 months? What does this look like time-wise?
So right now, we are calling this a sort of a season of preparation and planning and prayer. And that's going to had started September 1st. It's going to end on March 31st. And that's the evaluation phase. So we're not jumping headlong into, yes, we're going to build. We want to evaluate. And what are we trying to evaluate? During these 6 months that are left, we want to have answers. What can we afford? What does this building look like? Is the city supportive? Is this tenant concept viable? What kind of loan would we have to take with or without it? And then just really, what is God saying? That's the number one thing. If we get a green light at the end of these 6 months, which I certainly am praying for, then you begin this 2-year process to actually, you have 6 months of design and 18 months of construction generally. You literally could be 2.5 years away from moving into that building.
But you have to take a first step.
You do.
So these are the first steps. The first steps are to bathe this in prayer, to start to get ourselves organized, to get some teams in place, to have men and women commit to putting their hand to the plow and start to answer some of those big questions you were talking about. Well, what is our ask for our congregation today, Ali? What do we need our congregation to be about?
Thank you for asking that. I mean, first of all, many of them have already jumped in and gotten involved.
Mhm.
The first thing I want them to know is if you didn't see your name on one of the teams, that doesn't mean you can't get involved. Everyone is going to get a chance to get involved.
Yeah.
That's part of the goal of Robert's team, the body involvement and
Mhm.
communications team.
Mhm.
But for starters, please start praying right away
Yeah.
for the team that you saw, because they have day jobs, and this is going to
Yeah.
take some time and a lot of
Yeah.
effort.
It will-
So pray for that. Pray for God's direction, clarity, unity. You're going to get a survey from the team that's going to say, hey, how do you want to get involved? So just be on the lookout for that.
Because I think people are eager to be a part of this and to see what God's going to do. It's exciting. Well, thanks for joining us today. We promise to keep you updated along the way. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, guys.